Hello, hello, good morning, and welcome to Live with Wood Coach Creative. This is Shalane Edwards Byron coming to you with information about writing, getting your book completed and published. Now, these sessions are meant to be accountability sessions, mainly for me, but also to check in with you so that you can keep abreast with your writing and keep getting your stuff done. Now, today's caption is about last night because I have a few things to tell you, some awesome stuff. And about, I guess, Friday and about last week here, lots of updates happening today. So, before I get into it, let me just tell you a little bit more about myself for those of you who are seeing the live for the first time. If it is your first time, please be sure to check in the video archives so that you can get the previous lives because I do share some valuable information if you're working on your manuscript and you're having a little time of it and you're trying to get it done. So, I am a creative writing specialist, an editor, and a writing coach and tutor. And what that means is that I work with authors, young writers, academic writers, helping them complete their manuscripts, complete their thesis, complete whatever it is they're writing on by helping them find the right words, learn the skills and strategies necessary to get writing, continue writing, and complete their writing projects. Now, these Tuesday sessions are, like I said, my accountability sessions. And yeah, I missed last week. Last week was one of those really busy weeks. I have a tendency to try to pack lots and lots of things in together, and last week I was actually in Tobago. I don't know why I thought I would be able to still do the lives. I figured, just a quick check in. So last week wasn't such a great week with writing, but we started off this week okay. And last night, so let me get into last night because this is just a quick check-in today. Last night we had our social media workshop for authors. And if you missed that, you really missed a good one. But the good news is that it was recorded and we're packaging it so you can still get a copy of it and get the wonderful, wonderful information. We had a guest presenter, Antonia, and she did a really awesome job talking about working with graphics, getting your book covers done, internal graphics, some of the things you need to consider if you're using graphics, what to work on for captioning and being consistent with posting, why you need social media, whether or not you would need a website. Those are some of the questions that we answered last night. It was a really awesome session with the participants we had. They learned a lot. That's what they said. And they are definitely, well, we're giving them a copy of the replay of the recording so they can go back to it because it was really a jam-packed 3 hours with lots and lots of information that would really inspire you and get you going with completing your manuscript and getting published. And then, of course, a little bit of what to do after you get published because the whole point of publishing is to get your books into the hands of your readers. And just having it there is not going to do that. You do need to take various steps afterward. So, all right. So, confession update. So, like I said, last week wasn't such a great week writing, but I did have some really awesome conversations about writing. So, that counts, right? It doesn't count in terms of writing, but it was really insightful for me. I had some conversations with a friend of mine who is working on a novel, and we were discussing the feedback she got from her developmental editor and what her next steps were and how she was going to implement the tips and the strategies given by the developmental editor. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that today. Um, what's happening with the process, developmental editing. Let me just back up for those of you who don't know what it is. There are different types of editing, and you need different types at different stages. Developmental editing is when you give a professional editor your manuscript and they will go through it and give you highlights and points of areas that work well, areas that need to be developed, and they usually give you a few guidelines on what and how to develop the areas. So, for example, if you're working on a novel, they will tell you things like, okay, this character needs to be developed a little more, these characters are necessary, work on expanding the visual and imagery of your setting descriptions. There are a couple holes in your plot here and there. This is what you can do to fix them, and those kinds of things. So that's what the developmental editor does. That person, and I work with developmental editing as well. We don't actually make any changes to your manuscript. What we do is an overall general assessment of the manuscript to see whether or not it's meeting the agenda and the goal that you want to meet, and then also a chapter by chapter, section by section. If it's nonfiction, then definitely content areas. If it's fiction, looking at plot and those kinds of things. So, really, just a kind of review of the writing. And that happens before you do the copy editing or the line editing, which is when your editor makes the changes for you. So if you want to find out more about the different types of editing and the editing process, then feel free to go to my website. There's a little tab there where you could put in your email and get some information about the editing process and the different types of editing, what you need to know about editing, so that you can understand how to really get that done when you're ready for publication. Now, I do wholeheartedly recommend that you get editing done and get it done professionally. You don't want to have just, friends and family read and give you ideas. You really do need professional set of eyes on your manuscript. And I'm not just saying that because I'm an editor. I actually do get another pair of eyes on my manuscripts before I publish as well. And we generally go through at least three stages of editing. So we do the developmental, then we do the copy editing, then we do another review, and then, well, actually four, I guess, because we do proofreading after as well. Because sometimes at the copy editing stage, when you make changes, you can still miss one or two things. So it's always good to have that proofreading at the end to make sure, you cover all your bases and so on. So, all right. Different types of editing, definitely get a few. And so while I didn't do much writing last week, I did engage in those conversations. And it was really insightful in terms of how the developmental editor worked with her manuscript and some of the comments that were made. Because what happens sometimes with writers, especially when you're working on a long piece or, like a hefty novel, let's say like 60,000, 70,000 words, when you get to that point, sometimes you start off one way, and then by the time you get to the end of the book, you've actually kind of forgotten some of the things that you said early on. So it's absolutely useful to kind of step back and go through the whole manuscript once it's finished to see how the plot works and what changes need to be made. When you're looking at that kind of length, you do have to a lot of times print it and read it as a printed book and not just go through the digital online information. So this is something that I really want to encourage you to pay attention to, because when what I've noticed is that, sometimes authors get attached to their writing. And I mean, I get attached to mine. I have all kinds of anxiety when I hand it over to editors. But you have to ask yourself, okay, what's the point? What is your agenda? What's your end goal? You want the best possible product at the end so that your readers will benefit the most. And sometimes we do have to take out things and make changes. And we can't just think of what we want, we also have to think of how readers are going to benefit. So, all right, today is, like I said, just a quick one to check in, resume the momentum, and I guess the thing is, sometimes we fall off the wagon. We all do. Even when we think we've built those habits and we are getting, the writing done and the consistency, it takes a while to form the habits. And certainly when we're all busy people, we have um other commitments, family, friends, work, etc. And writing really is it's necessary for us to kind of carve out time. But while we're doing that, sometimes what happens is that, other activities can come in and interrupt. And while we do want to guard our writing time, we have to remember life happens too. And when we fall off the wagon and we stop writing, it's not a cause for, lament or any kind of depression. We just really need to pick ourselves back up, dust off, and go back to the schedule, go back to the plan, see what's working, see what's not working, make the adjustments as necessary, and then get back right into it. So for this week, my classes started yesterday, and then I had the workshop. So no writing yesterday either. But from tomorrow, I have the times scheduled, and then, well, we have the co-writing session Thursday morning. That is scheduled. So we're getting back on track, getting back to work with our manuscripts and completing our projects. So we still have some time. It was just 1 week. Well, I'd say a week and a half, because coming into last week, I didn't get much writing done either. But we're back up, we're dusting off, and we're going again so that we're building back that momentum. It's okay if you stumble, it's okay if you stop writing, but remember there's an end goal, and we do have that, final agenda and deadline to meet. So we're getting right back at it. So I'm really excited about that, getting back with the projects, and I was really blown away by that presentation yesterday. Lots and lots of great stuff. So remember that we have the how to self-publish in Trinidad and Tobago. That is going to be up on the website soon. And that workshop we had yesterday, we're packaging it. It's also going to be up on the website. So if you've missed those two, you can still access them, like the Facebook page with Coach Creative, so that you can get any updates that are happening. And certainly, you can check in with the blogs. I've been writing about the lies. I think blog 3 is up on the Facebook page, a link for it, so you can check that and, start really working through all the anxiety and the situations that you have working against you, so that you can find strategies and tips and systems to help you complete your manuscript and get that book published. Lots of people are waiting to read what you are working on, so keep working at it, and we're here to support. So if you have any questions about writing, the publishing process, from Trinidad and Tobago's perspective, if you have any questions about completing your manuscript, whether you're working on fiction or nonfiction, send me a message and we could make an arrangement. I think it was up, but remember I said the website is a work in progress right now. So some changes are being made, but you can certainly check in and see what's there. And if you're looking for something that you can't find, send me a message on WhatsApp as well, 717-4993. Can't promise to answer a phone call right away, but I do respond to WhatsApp messages as soon as I can. All right, so that's it. That's a quick check-in today. And I look forward to resuming the writing and giving you way good news next week, because yes, I'm going to be dedicating some more time to writing today. And oh, before I forget, I'll be at a business expo on Friday. I think it's the Mount Lambert Community Center. Um I'm getting the flyer today. we're it's the 21st, which is this Friday, between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. Not 1 p.m. 4 p.m. 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. I would be there from about quarter past one, half past one, but the booth will be up. So if you wanted to check out the um, report writing documents, the narrative writing for children, or just to stop by and say hi, ask me questions in person, then we can have that chat. If you're interested in, getting a book done and you don't know where to begin, you have access to me in person on Friday. But of course, every Tuesday, as often as I can, I'd be here, and feel free to send a message, ask your questions. We're here to help you complete your book and get published. All right. So have a good one. Take care, everybody. And I shall see you next week. Bye bye.